Morning, everyone. It's Phil Wade from Dalton Wade Real Estate Group, and I'm joined with Kinga,
Hi.
Talia,
Good morning.
and Claren is holding the phone, in charge of the camera. So, hey, we're going to talk about conducting an open house and how to get the most out of it. So, your primary function in doing an open house is hopefully to sell that home. However, unfortunately, that doesn't happen very often. So, your secondary goal is to meet buyers. So, open houses are a great way to meet buyers. Basically for free. You don't have to pay Zillow or Realtor.com for those buyer leads. You can get them right at your open house. So that's another reason why listings are valuable. So your open house, can give you, some additional business. So you want to be thinking about, like when I conduct an open house, everything is sort of pre-planned, meaning I know I'm there, and the odds of that house selling to someone walking through is small, but I'm really there to meet buyers and build that relationship, and I'm going to tell you how to sort of maximize that. So the first thing is you want a lot of traffic at your open house, right? You want the most possible people. So you want to get that open house posted early on the MLS so that you're not posting it Friday for Sunday because if someone looked Thursday and they're out, going to do some open houses on Sunday, they didn't come. So get it posted on Monday for the following week. The longer it's out there, the more people you'll get. You want to go into Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com and edit your remarks and put the open house right in the remarks. Again, sometimes people don't see the open house because they miss that icon. This way, it's just a better chance of them sort of knowing you're having the open house. And again, then if you do that, you've got to sort of take it out the next, go back in and unedit it. Get there early. People, if your open house launches at 2 o'clock, there's usually some people, especially if it's, a popular one, they'll be there at 5 of 2. So you want to get there, 15, 20 minutes early so that, you're all set up and you're kind of waiting for them to come because again, rather than, you're setting up, turning the lights on, they're walking in, it's hard to kind of, make that relationship, make that contact. When they come in, you want to greet them, and right then and there, you want to capture their contact info before they do anything. Now, a lot of times you'll go to an open house and you'll see a sign-in sheet, right? So, and then you have the people, sign in. Don't do that because what will happen is that a lot of people like me have bad handwriting. You won't be able to read their email address, and then it's worthless because one character off, it's no good. So you want to sign them in, and if you have an iPad or any type of tablet, bring that, sign them right into Boomtown. That way you've captured them. You look cool. You've got your iPad. You're not signing them on a piece of paper. You're electronically signing them in, and then you kind of captured their information, and you've sort of got them. At that point, kind of let them go do their thing. Have them send them on their way to look at the house. Don't follow them around, don't stalk them, give them some space. You'll know when they're finishing up because typically what'll happen is most folks will sort of, they'll engage you that one last time before they're leaving. At that point, walk over to them. How did you like the house? And then start to see if you can, kind of build that relationship, find out a little bit about them, where they are in their search process. Another thing, again, maybe throw out the suggestion, if they'd like to receive any property alerts from you, you can, again, do that live right on Boomtown. And then now you've taken another step where you're actually sending them info. And then once they leave, hopefully, just see if my next note is here, hold on, but, this is more about so that you look knowledgeable about the property. If you're not the listing agent, like King is doing an open house for Claren next Sunday, So it's a pertinent topic for them. But, again, Kinga's gonna ask Claren, like, how old is the roof? Some of the questions that might come up, because it's always difficult when it's not your listing, you don't know as much about the house, but, the roof, the air conditioning, kind of the normal questions that people ask. If you have the answers, you look a little bit better. If you don't have the answers, no big deal. Just tell them, hey, I don't know, and I'm going to get back to you. Now that is actually an opportunity. You can turn it around, and that way you've got a reason to sort of follow back up with them. I checked, the roof is, X years old, and you followed up, you're right on top of it. One of the big things is that engagement, right? So you hopefully hit it off with them, and again, not everybody needs an agent that goes to an open house, but a lot do. I personally have been very successful, meeting people at open houses and then, getting them as a buyer client for me. Then when you're done, like, either that Sunday afternoon, late Sunday night, everybody that came, drop them a personal note. If you didn't have a chance to set them up on with the alerts, ask them in that personal email. So take it that next step where you follow up with them right after the open house. Again, just my own kind of stats, maybe of the people that came through, maybe I'll convert 1 out of 10. So if I meet 10 people, I might get one, as a buyer, maybe a little bit less than that. But it definitely is a good way, because you've met them. Who goes to open houses? People without agents, a lot of times, because that's their only access to the property. If you don't have an agent, you can't really go looking. So people at the beginning of their searches tend to sort of go to open houses, and then as they get a little bit more serious, they engage an agent. Now I got to throw this in for Claren. We met Claren at an open house. Here today, actually met Claren at an open house, ended up becoming her buyer's agent. Claren's come on board, she's been here a little over a year. So again, that open house, we got a ton of benefit out of it. So they work. I think that one particular property, Jan got like 4 buyers out of it. It was, the perfect property is one that looks great online, but has some flaws. So you get a lot of people, but then nobody makes an offer. So you're able to kind of meet a whole bunch of people. And then I guess the last thing is keep track of your conversion. Like you met 10 people, you converted 1. Just and see how you're doing. So. So in summary, open houses, and I guess just one last thing I didn't put in the email I sent out, but signage is relatively important, so you want to make sure you have signs. I mean, you've seen them, people with the balloons. However you want to take that, but having some signage out there will help you. Typically, you get a different group of people that come off of signs. So if you don't have great signage, you'll just get the people that saw it on the internet. But you might pull in 2 or 3 people that are coming in off your sign, and again, you might be able to engage them and then ultimately pick them up. So open houses, great source of buyers. So any questions with the group? Pretty straightforward. Any questions in Periscope land? Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Saturday.